If you've got one leg that's weaker than the other, you're going to end up running in circles. That's good science. Let's fix that. Salut, c'est Stéphane from Safe Motions. In my last video, we talked about how to test for muscle imbalances. Because as a runner, we often don't realize if one side is stronger than the other. Maybe you feel a little bit out of whack here and there, or you feel a little bit of pain on one side. But that shouldn't make any sense. Why would you feel just one side being out of place? Running is perfectly symmetrical. So I do recommend to test regularly. If you have any strength imbalances, go check out that video for the tests, and don't forget to come back here to fix it. Working on the most important parts of the body for running, I selected the most effective exercises based on research and my own experience, which means in your strength routine, you should really try and integrate those. And it definitely doesn't mean you should only do those. A well-designed program will have a variety of exercises. So on this video, we'll focus on the bare minimum. I'll give you what exercises, number of repetitions, number of sets, and after how many weeks you can test again for your asymmetries. Now we are talking about asymmetries in strength, not necessarily in size. Note that I'm assuming that you're not injured. If you are injured, do consult first before you do the following. We'll start with the glutes, medius and maximus. They've been extensively covered by science for activation, strengthening, hypertrophy, for everything basically. But we're not going to do squats or deadlifts, at least not single-legged. That's because even though they're great exercises, they do not have the best muscle activation. No, they don't, and they don't have enough specificity for running. For all the stuff that we're going to do, there's no equipment needed, only things that you can find in your home, hopefully. Let's check them out. We're gonna start with single-legged squats. I told you we weren't doing any squats or deadlifts, but these are single-legged. Place a chair behind you, sit down on that chair. Using just one leg, you're going to start with standing up, making sure there's a good alignment between the ankle, the knee, and the hip, and sit back down. You want the movement to be slow, especially when going down. So slow going down, and up. When you start this, if you feel like your knee is a little bit weak, you don't have to sit all the way on the chair. You can go for more of a 30 degrees angle downwards. So that's about this, roughly. Slow going down, about 30 degrees, and up. The second exercise are going to be step ups. We'll do it with a chair because I don't have a step around here. But basically, you want to start low and build up the height week after week. There's several ways you can do step ups. You can do it from the front, you can do it from the side, you can do it crossing over. I'm going to demonstrate front and side. Put a foot up on a chair. Hope that's solid. Knee straight, above the ankle. Don't move the knee in or out, and simply stand up. Why is my flip-flop still? There you go. Again, down slow. Tap on the floor and up. That's a step up. Side step ups. Up. If you find the exercise a little bit difficult, feel free to put your foot back down on the floor and down slow. I can put my foot down, rest, start again, up. The glutes respond pretty well to training, so we're looking into 6 weeks of training, 5 sets, 5 to 12 repetitions. Work specifically on the non-dominant side, on the weaker side. Or you could do 2 times more sets on the weaker side. Next up, we're going to work on balance, because if you can't balance on your feet, you're going to have a hard time stabilizing that pelvis. So the glute exercises that we just did are going to be ineffective. I should have done the balance before the glute exercises. I'm such a dumb. I can't tell you the number of high-end athletes I've had, sometimes participating in world championships. You put them on one leg and all of a sudden they become all wobbly and unstable. That's because they're using momentum to stabilize them. So here's for them. You want to find yourself in an environment that's safe, not too many objects around you. Stand on one leg, close your eyes, and you want to stay for as long as possible without the opposite leg touching the floor. There we go. For an athletic person, we're looking into maybe 30 seconds on each leg. So there, check for asymmetries and just do it more on the side that doesn't reach 30 seconds. Or both, if you need to. The next exercise, I took my flip-flops off, so you know it's going to be difficult. Standing on that one leg, single-legged hop forward and stabilize, which means once you land, don't move. You want to check if your knee, your ankle, your hip are aligned, that they're not caving in or out. So again, jump, stop. What you don't want to do is jump and relax. No, you want to check how you land from this hop. Don't jump too high, don't jump too far. It's just to work on stabilization. This is to be done almost daily, except Sunday, for small amounts every day. So we're looking into maybe 5 to 10 repetitions each side, just one set. Do your balancing eyes closed for maybe a couple of minutes, and that's it. Every day except Sunday. For all these exercises, as you progress throughout the weeks, you want to try and increase the difficulty in the challenge. So that means sometimes adding weights for the step-ups, making it higher and higher. To add weights, you could do things like grabbing a bottle of water or grabbing a backpack. So like this, for example. For our next imbalance, we're going to work on the hip flexor. Some really interesting research out there. If your hip flexor is stronger, you run faster. Just look it up. Mosquitoes. Against the wall, lift the knee up, 90 degrees, just do repetitions. That's it. Hip flexors develop super quickly. We're looking into 4 weeks only, 2 to 3 times a week, 6 to 12 repetitions, 3 to 5 sets. To increase the load, pick something up and down. You do want to make sure that your knee goes past the hip height. So then you're engaging a little bit of the psoas muscle too. There is the option of doing this seated and lifting up. For the hip flexors, there's also research that says that hip flexibility is a performance advantage.
It makes sense. We need strength in the hip flexors to drive the knee up and forward. We also need flexibility in the hip flexors to push the floor as far behind as we can.
So I recommend to also stretch your hip flexors. For that, I suggest some skating. Flip-flops off. Bending your knees a little bit, step to the side, cross the back leg behind the front leg, stretch the hip flexor, and other side. You can do it as a plyometric exercise. You're focusing on the hip of the leg that's behind. That's what you're stretching, so you do want to feel a stretch there. Stretch that side. Stretch that side. Mind to muscle connection is really important in all those exercises. So here, make sure you're controlling the hip of the leg that's behind you. Bonus, you'll also strengthen the glutes, medius mostly. It is mighty hot in here. Before we move on to the most important part of the body for runners, if you think this kind of thing has some value, please don't forget to hit the like button. Right, so the most important part of the running body is what pushes you off the floor. Having weak calves can lead to a ton of issues. More specifically, we're going to focus on the part of the calves that I think most people neglect, the deeper layer, what's closest to the bones, the soleus. To do that, we'll have to deactivate the superficial layer of the calf, the gastrocnemius, by bending the knee. Dead easy to do. Heel raises, bend the knee, lift up and down, and up and down. To step it up, wear a backpack, bent knee, up and down. A lot of people tend to do this, up and go back down, the leg is straight. Make sure that knee stays bent, otherwise you're working on the gastrocnemius. An alternative, if you're having a hard time to keep the knee bent, is to perform the exercise sitting down, in which case, you'll need to load up your calf with something that's pretty heavy. It's a strong muscle. And you do your heel raises with weights. Now the calves don't respond well to exercise, so you'll have to work harder on them. 4 to 5 sets of 20, 3 to 4 times a week, about 12 weeks. And then you'll test again for asymmetries. Man, it's like a sauna in here. Subscribe to see me sweat more. Next video, how to maintain your muscle size and strength as you get older. I'll see you there. À bientôt.